For 150 years, our Episcopal Diocese of Newark has woven a tapestry of faith, compassion, and courage across northern New Jersey. This isn't just a story of buildings and bishops. It is the living, breathing legacy of us all. Our journey as a diocese began on November 12, 1874, at the convention held at Grace Church, Newark. Born out of the Diocese of New Jersey, we started with 64 parishes and our first bishop. From 1874 to today, 11 bishops have guided our diocese, each leaving their unique imprint on our shared history. Through the years, generation after generation has stepped forward in faith, reached out with compassion, and stood up with courage to meet the challenges of their time. Each time, our diocese has been defined by bold faith in action. We have never been content to just observe. We've always been called to act. Think about your own parish, your own family. How has being part of this diocese shaped your life, your faith, your community? Our shared story began 150 years ago, but it's still being written by each of us. Do you know that many of our churches were born not from decisions made by a bishop, but from the passion and dedication of fellow parishioners? In the past 150 years, over 70 of our parishes were planted through the assistance of other congregations. From our beginning, parishes across the diocese gave life to other parishes. This is our power, faith communities raising up new communities. Throughout our history, we faced society's challenges. Back in the last Gilded Age, there were no social safety nets. It was up to churches and congregations to respond. And we did, with compassion, faith, and action. Congregations built a way to care for the sick, homes for young people where they could be safe. Our faith drove us to act courageously for those in need. Over our history, we have welcomed people into our churches and communities with temporary shelter, from shelters to permanent homes for families to senior housing, and for the services that people need throughout their lives. This commitment to responding in faith has created organizations that became anchors of support in the community. We are still learning, still opening our eyes, welcoming the stranger, learning along the way that to serve, we also need to empower, equipping people with education and jobs. Our faith has always compelled us to do more than just worship within our church walls. Following Jesus means we are compelled to stand up to power, to stand for the rights of people who are marginalized. 1967, a time of turmoil. When others turned their backs, our diocese opened its doors to the Black Power Conference. In that moment, we didn't just talk about justice. Throughout our history, we have faced society's challenges head-on, guided by the conviction that our faith demands action. This courage to advocate for change has defined our diocese and shaped our communities. We championed women's ordination. We have worked for disability rights, making sure everyone belongs and has a place here. We led the way in embracing LGBTQ+ rights with compassion and courage. We continue to advocate for equality and today's most serious problems, environmental justice and the healing of the earth, sensible gun laws and affordable housing, striving to put our faith into action. We continue to feed the hungry every day, and we advocate for better food policy, for living wages, and housing as a human right. In 2010, we established the Alleluia Fund, amplifying our ability to help both locally and globally. This is our legacy, 150 years of parish-powered faith, community service, and bold advocacy. It is a legacy that lives on in each of us today. Let's look ahead. Imagine 50 years from now. What will our descendants celebrate on our 200th anniversary? Our 250th? The next chapter of our extraordinary story begins today with each of us. What page will you write? How is God calling you to carry forward this tradition of bold faith in action? Our Episcopal Diocese of Newark, 150 years of faith, compassion, and courage. Together, let's honor our past by building a future grounded in our bold faith that empowers even deeper compassion and bolder transformational impact.